Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you, Artish?
Pretty good. I hope yeah, you can see my video as well. So
Yes, I can clearly see you. I can clearly hear you. So we are looking good. So I do have to warn you. This is Monday morning, and I don't know why I forgot at this time we have these blower guys outside who are cleaning the. Uh, yes, so there will be some noise, but I've like sealed all the windows. I hope it doesn't get too noisy in here.
yeah, I hope so. And I think background noise isn't that bad. Uh, yeah. So have you seen the questions that she sent? Like
Yes,
yes,
I have seen the questions. I did had one feedback on one of them because I think it was not framed correctly.
the fundraising one.
Here, let me open
And
it.
so another thing, have you enabled the video on your page?
So I have not done that yet. Um, so I did that connection
Okay.
that you asked me to do, but I don't know if I have to do anything else after that.
Yeah, you actually do. Let me send you the link again. So this setting where you'll see this video and you just have to like click two buttons to create the post.
Okay.
I've just got link
So before I get on
in
this, let
the
me
chat
tell
again.
you about that question. Acha, so
Yeah,
where is that Google Doc? Just opened it and now it went away. Hang on.
is it the one with the fundraising?
Um, I think so. I think so. It is the one. I think it is the one which is like 3.1. Yes, under the fundraising section.
Yeah,
And it says we know that Fuchsia is extending support options to the general public. I don't know what she means by support option. It means investment options. That's a more appropriate term
yeah.
to
I
the
thought that
general.
makes sense.
And then can you speak more about how people can, quote, unquote, fundraise for Fuchsia? And what is that really about? Not fundraise, how people can invest in Fuchsia and what this is really about. That's what it should. I'm not asking people to fundraise.
No, makes sense. Totally get it. Yeah,
So yeah,
we'll
other
just
than that,
rephrase the question.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll just rephrase this question.
Yes, perfect. Other than that, everything looks fine. Other than my face looks a bit swollen, but I guess it's okay.
I hope my video is working fine because something is stuck on my end.
अच्छा यहाँ पे you I can see you. I can see you move. It's
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine then.
Are you in Islamabad?
Yes, I am in startup, back in
Okay.
startup.
Got it. Okay, so now let me go ahead and share that thing on our Facebook Live page so we can go live.
From there as well.
So I had a question. If somebody asks questions on the through the Facebook Live feed, you will not see that,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. We should see that, but because of a setting that I did incorrect the first time. So what
Uh-huh.
I'm doing is like I'm opening the page on my mobile phone.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I'll see the questions there, and then I'll narrate the questions to you. And we can
Oh,
take it
perfect.
that way.
Perfect. Hang on. Let me. I have so many things open on my laptop.
Yeah, totally fine. We'll automatically go live at 10.
Okay. How's Eza? I hope nothing too scary.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't have the details yet, but yeah. So when you're at home, there's obviously a bunch of stuff that family kind of forces you to do?
So Ramesh, I'm not. I will go live at 10 a.m. and you can go directly on the website, on the Facebook Live.
Website? I mean,
On Facebook Live, not website, on Facebook Live.
like it'll show up on our Facebook page, right?
It should. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Share screen. So, Arzish, I'm pronouncing your name correctly, right? It's Arzish.
Yeah, this is correct.
Very unique name.
Thank you. And how do I pronounce Fuschia? It is Fuschia, right?
It's Fuchsia.
It's Fuchsia.
Fuchsia. There you go.
Okay.
Yes.
Fuchsia. Okay. Now I've learned it. Okay, so Fuchsia.
You
Yeah,
can see.
so now I am. Yeah, I can see your screen. Absolutely.
So what do I do from here? I just click on this.
Yeah, just click on this. Click on actions. Create post with this video.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to edit the caption or something, but
Maybe I should say live Q&A session with Afshan.
yeah, makes sense.
Should I go ahead and publish it?
Yes, please.
I'm doing this for the first time.
No, it's totally fine. It's super easy stuff. I'm also using this software for the first time, but
Okay.
this one is supposed to be really good, produce like professional live streams.
Got it. Got it. So I think it went on the page and
Yeah.
let's see. Should probably pin it on the top.
Yeah, because this is the same post that will become the live stream.
Okay. It went away, but oh, there it is. Okay, good. I thought I screwed it up. Okay, 1 minute left.
Yes, absolutely.
So how are things in Pakistan?
Pretty good. I think the number of cases are kind of flattening right now, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I think next 2 weeks are critical with how things are shaping up and everything. So for sure. Hello? Are you there, Arzish? Hi, everyone. This is Afshan Abbas from Fuchsia Shoes. I am just going ahead and introducing myself because I think my video is already live. I'm waiting for my host to join the call. He was just here. I don't know, something happened and I lost him. So most likely he will join back shortly and then we'll start our conversation. And that's him messaging saying he has some technical issue, BRB, sorry. Okay. say hi if anyone is watching. If anyone, I think I can see your comments here. Oh, good. Now I can start seeing the comments. So we are going to start talking about some of the cool things that we have been doing here with Fuchsia Shoes, how our response to the pandemic has been like. And Arzish, are you there? I heard something. Okay. Oh, good. Now I can start seeing the comments. So we are going to start talking about some of the cool things that we have been doing here with Fuchsia Shoes, how our response to the pandemic has. So I am trying to figure out if we are live on Facebook or not. So I'm just trying to log in. I think I've logged in. I'm waiting for Arzish to join. He
Watch live recover.
we will power through this week, and we will be talking about how we have been moving things during the pandemic at Fuchsia Shoes. Here you are, Arzish. Welcome back.
Sorry. Thank you. Sorry, I should have been here first in welcoming you. As you know, I'm going to be like moderating all the questions to you. But sorry, I ran into some technical issues. I hope we have everything working right now.
Yes.
I hope people can watch us live on Facebook and everything. Yeah. So I'm not sure. Like, have you done your intro? Or should we start with that?
I did a brief interview, and I let everyone know that what I'm going to be talking about. So I think we can jump right into it. But for those of you who don't know me, I am Afshan, CEO and co-founder of Fuchsia Shoes. If you are on our subscription letter, you have probably seen emails coming from me. I'm talking to all of you who are following us or who are subscribed on our newsletter, and my pictures and what I kind of keep talking about what we have been up with Fuchsia Shoes here.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking over while I solved the technical glitch. And thank you for joining this live stream live from Silicon Valley. So for those like of you who don't know, I'm live in Islamabad right now, and I think one of the positive aspects of this work at home and this COVID quarantine situation is that we can connect with friends across the globe, literally in opposite time zones, which is San Francisco and Pakistan right now, and kind of discuss the amazing work people like you are especially doing. Right. So you've obviously done your introduction, but just to give the audience an idea, right? So you started your career in tech, which is you worked with Microsoft as well, and then spent a number of years in that phase of the tech industry, at Microsoft as senior business analyst, and then you worked at INRIX, right? You're also the part of the board of advisors at PWIC. So how did you end up becoming from this techie person to starting your own company, which is I think very different to the work that you did there, right? This is a lot about helping these artisans and creating these amazing products and supply chain, a lot of that stuff.
Totally. So so first of all, I am based out of Seattle, not in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Yes, and so I moved to Seattle back in 2007 when I started working for Microsoft. I was a fresh grad, almost a fresh grad by that time, and after that I spent around a decade working for tech companies around in the area. Great part of my career and great learning opportunity. I went on and founded Fuchsia Shoes as part of this thing that I got inspired as part of my traveling trips. So during my time with corporate, I also was kind of traveling around different parts of the world, and I was meeting these amazing, talented artisan groups that were working on creating something beautiful, original, that was very native to that country. So I would bring their goods or things that I would fall in love with back home in Seattle, and I would always find myself in situations where people will come up and ask where these products are from. So something similar happened to me with shoes. Shoes was something that I came across as part of one of our trips in in Pakistan. I bought these as souvenirs of a farmer's market, and I brought them here back in Seattle. And I had tons of people coming, I'm literally talking about people I didn't know come up and ask me where these products were from, where the shoes were from. And I had nowhere to point them. So that kind of led me to look into where the source of these shoes was. And that's how I started learning about the artisan economy and the struggles that the artisan face in the local markets to create these shoes and just to practice this beautiful art that has been in existence for, some say 100 years, some say 200 years, but so much more undervalued in the local markets. So yeah, I saw these gaps. I saw a demand for the product in the global markets, and then this thing that these beautiful artisans were working on creating, and there was no connectivity in the middle. So in 2016, I said, okay, I'm going to do this full time, because I was also getting burned out with my full-time job. And I wanted to give this a serious shot. So I quit my job and I started doing this full time. And that's how Fuchsia was born.
Wow, that's an amazing journey of kind of transitioning from this tech role to starting a company, and I'm glad to hear that Pakistan played a role in it, that and essentially your business model is kind of benefiting Pakistan as well. So there have been, I think, a number of startups who started out with a very, I would say, similar goal, which is helping artisans from different industries in Pakistan. There's obviously Mark 4, or maybe some people know that they converted
Yeah.
into atoms or started atoms, and there was
Mm.
like Poly and other stories which working with like blue pottery, as per my knowledge, and a bunch of others, right? So how does kind of your business model differentiate you, or what's kind of your value proposition or target market that differentiates you from all these different startups?
Yeah. So again, with I think there are a number of factors that kind of stand us apart. So number one is how well positioned we are. So we started from Pakistan because when I surveyed the entire artisan economy, it turns out it's a huge like $30 billion business across developing nations around the world. Pakistan was just happened to be the best place to start as us founders coming from there and having the ability to navigate through the market was just like it was like a golden opportunity for us. We had our base in Seattle. We wanted to address the issues in the market here in the US. And it turns out that sustainable fashion is kind of growing with like millennials and the next generation of consumers that will be coming and spending. They want to buy from sustainable fashion brands. So Pakistan naturally kind of turned out to be the most practical way for us to start and kind of start this business. Now, how we are well positioned with the rest of the other people, which is why I believe this, we have and we are already seeing that from our numbers. So the type of product that we are going with is a flat. This is how our shoe look like.
Okay.
So this product has women wear who are our target audience. Our target audience are ladies in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they in US, an average American woman owns 27 pairs of shoes at any given time.
Wow.
So the way that women in like almost around the world wear shoes is very different. That like I have 7 pairs, 10 pairs of shoes. Well, I'm in the shoe business, so maybe I'm not a good example, but I have friends that kind of rely on flats to kind of as their go-to shoe. And if you like a shoe that is really working out well for you with respect to its comfort, durability, and like you just feel like home in it, then you would want it in every different color. So the product that we actually kind of started with what turned out that we can really grow this business as a wildfire. So so I think the founders coming from Seattle, staying closer to our customers, that's where our target market is. It's mainly US and Canada. And just remaining very close to our customers, hearing their pain points, taking their pain points with, how they want to wear flats, what kind of issues they face with existing brands, and taking that towards the artisans and putting that in the product development and evolving the product to an extent that it's meeting that customer demand was something that we got like best of both worlds. So yeah, I think that's how we are really well positioned for this market.
No, I think that's amazing. And even though I'm not in your target market, I'd love to add to the discussion that I own around like 30 pairs of shoes as well. Now,
Yes.
I don't think none of them are flats, but shoes is I think a very personal thing and a style statement for a lot of people. Even if
Exactly.
they like to wear trousers and shirts all the time, but still, people like us still invest in shoes and good way. But just to expand on your point about sustainable fashion, right? So
Mhm.
there's this big trend of fast fashion in the US with all these brands kind of producing and discarding so many products in such small time, and it has its environmental impact as well, right? So how do you see the role of sustainable fashion, and specifically, if I would ask, the role of Pakistan in this supply chain of sustainable fashion? You've
Mhm.
obviously worked with artisans here. You're familiar with the supply chain. You've sold what 10,000 pairs of shoes
That's
produced by this market, right? In the North American market, right? So you have the experience of the whole kind of journey of these products.
right. So I think with respect to sustainability, honestly, like from the demand perspective, I have not seen a trend in Pakistan as much as I have seen this trend in markets like Europe and US, where the consumers are getting more aware of their purchases, and they want to spend their dollars in the right places with the right brands who are caring for the people and for the planet. So, so with places like Pakistan, where there are opportunities with respect to availability of labor, like talented labor, availability of sustainable raw materials. Like we have tons of raw material. Like we have barely scratched the surface with what we have created with our shoes, right? And in our supply chain, we have right now we were just focused on, okay, if the artisans, how the human aspect of sustainability is being met. And that for us is the most vulnerable people in our supply chain. That happens to be the artisans, because these happens to be the same people that were being exploited in the local markets. They were underpaid. They were competing against mass produced goods. And they, like some of our fuchsia artisans that are working full time for us now, they had a problem around consistency. So they just didn't had enough work. They would come, and there's this concept in Pakistan which is called the hari, which means um, daily wage.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if they are on a project where they have to create 50 shoes, they will get paid by that daily wage, which happens to be $2 in our case, in our artisan's case. They will work on that for a week, and then they will be out of it for 3 weeks. The artisans that we are working with also happens to be farmers, so they would kind of recover that from harvesting or farming, or they would have other seasonal jobs. So one of the biggest issue that we saw was the consistency and the demand, because it's really hard to compete in the local markets for something that's cheaply produced, fast fashion. People have this concept that, oh, we are just going to like literally some of the shoes that we saw in the local markets were made out of cardboards, and that's why they're available like so cheaply in the local markets, because A, they're made with really cheap quality raw materials. B, the artisans are exploited, so somebody is paying the price for that. So so what we did was, we know, based on some research and data that we collected, um, in the US market, especially when we are selling a shoe for $100, it has to speak for its value and for its worth. Just keep the artisan story aside. So we are here sitting in a market that we are competing with Italian handmade shoes that retails, that starts retail for $200 and above. I mean, there are all sorts of prices for that. So I think we had a really good advantage on the pricing side. I mean, we can still kind of keep in the luxury category. The shoes that we are creating are still in the luxury category, but we can strategically set it in the 90s or below hundreds in a way that we are making it accessible for a very large market and not just a luxury market. We had to do some work. We had to improve the quality, and we did that. So, for example, this is how one of our shoes look like. And you
Yeah.
can see in the footbed, we put this Eva sole. We cover the leather walls with suede lining. We use this concept of double sole. The original sole is hand stitch. You can see the threads. And
Yeah.
then we add another layer of this sheet, this rubber sheet on top of that leather to cover the leather. So you will enjoy this shoe. This is not a fast fashion piece product. This is something that you will have in your closet for over a year, guaranteed. Try breaking it. so
Wow.
so the idea was, how do we like concentrate on, making the shoes more durable, more comfortable, because that's one of the challenges with the flats. Otherwise a lot of girls would wear heels and other fashionable footwear that's not comfortable. But with flats, you have to be comfortable because they're expected to be worn as a like during the day or when you are going out on traveling or stuff like that.
Oh wow. No, I mean they look so comfortable, and even I'm thinking of getting one. But
Yeah,
just to add on a couple of points that you discussed, that obviously a daily wage is a big issue in I would say emerging economies, but especially if you highlight the current situation in Pakistan with COVID-19, the government is really trying to deliver livelihood and food and expenses to people, because a lot of the population, especially in like non-urban areas, rural areas, are daily wage workers, right? And if they have consistent livelihood with companies like yourself who are selling outside Pakistan and not that much affected, I would assume, by COVID, and we'll talk more on it as well. I think that's really valuable for the economy and for the overall livelihood uh, of these people as well. And even when you said that similar products are selling at like 2x the price, but even selling at 50% of the price of those products, you're still giving a reasonable fair income to the artisans, right? With
exactly,
a lot about the kind of
exactly.
company you are, right?
And you know why are we giving that fair artisan? By the way, I just want this to be clear that we are not doing the artisans any favor. But this is how we have developed the business model. If they were creating the same shoe, because they can create it so quickly with less labor work and with cheap quality, Yusha, they have to spend extra hours because of the craftsmanship aspect and the quality that we are aiming for. So it's the model is designed in a way that they are having to spend a lot more time in creating a fuchsia piece versus creating a local piece. And
Mhm.
they as a result of it, they get paid more, and taking home, they're actually, our artisans are making 3 times more than what they used to make before we existed, and that's a huge achievement.
Wow, no, that's amazing. I mean, in essence, you're kind of taking these local artisans with zero exposure. Outside Pakistan is, I think, a bigger thing to talk about, but even outside their cities or regions, right? And you're
Exactly.
taking them out from the local supply chain into this international supply chain, where obviously they have to do better work, which they're doing, and they get paid accordingly as well, right? And
Exactly.
this brings me to my second point, right? Even the local industry in Pakistan, which I'm observing, is affected a lot by the current situation, by the quarantine and everything, because
Yeah.
a lot of the retail stores are closed. There's only a couple of major reliable e-commerce players. How is the fashion industry in North America affected, and how are you and your company affected and kind of coping up with the challenge of this situation?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, we are in very interesting times right now.
Yeah.
We are hearing a lot of different stories. We have just begun to see the impact, the real impact of this on businesses around Seattle. And I just want to say that, like, at least in countries like the US, we still have the leverage of sitting at home, having access to hand soaps, and having all of this awareness of washing our hands, keeping ourselves clean, and how to be protective when we are going out. We have that sort of awareness.
Yeah.
But I think the most devastating stories that I heard were coming from Pakistan, where like people were started starving for food because they just couldn't go to work and they just couldn't bring income for their families and themselves, and they just couldn't put food on the table. So for us, the impact has been minimal but what happened was on March 23rd, when Pakistan's government announced a lockdown, we were not ready, just like most of the world. Um, Things were changing so fast on a day-to-day basis, and the same day we thought, okay, we are not going to continue to. That's how we literally started. We were like, okay, we have to shut the business activity because we have to be mindful of all the safety and the lockdown guidelines. So we had to follow that. So we decided that we are going to shut down the business activity and the supply chain. And so that's what we kind of ended up deciding. The next day, I opened this open discussion with my team. I have 2 project managers that are in Pakistan, myself in Seattle. I have somebody in Denmark. And we opened this conversation and we were like, okay guys, like how is everyone is feeling, what is going on in Pakistan, in Seattle, and like what can we do to and the thing that I heard was, just like we can try to come up with a plan. And it turns out that 2 of my project managers in Pakistan proposed that maybe we can work on a model where we can have the artisans continue working from home. So the third day, we compartmentalized all of the steps that we take to create shoes. And we kind of turned lucky because our shoes are also made in small batches. We're not using any heavy machinery to create anything. So like the uppers, there's a batch of uppers. Some artisans is creating the sole. Some different set of artisans are working on the embroidery piece, the sock liners, all different components of the shoes.
Okay. No.
So they literally took all of those batches of like the raw material, and they handed the artisans their part of the shoes in their houses. And so our artisans actually started working from their homes on their part. And that's how we kept the show running. So we are continuing to do that. We are still a bit slow, but we know we will catch up. We had around 300 orders open when we hit this thing, and I communicated with all of our customers that, hey guys, thank you for placing the orders, and we are struggling through this pandemic. We called some of our customers and everybody was like, we are willing to wait for these shoes. So generally it takes us 3 weeks to ship the shoes to our customers. For people who were affected, like the orders were affected because of shipping times, because even though we started making the shoes, there were no flights coming out or in the country. So we couldn't get them shipped out. So we were literally by the last stretch of it, we were waiting for the flights to open up so we can get our shoes on the flights and on the boxes and start delivering it. So some of our customers ended up waiting 6 weeks, and now they have their shoes, and we're back in on our delivery times.
Wow. I mean that's so amazing to hear, because I've always heard from, especially like manufacturing and hardware companies, that all these like software companies can do work from home because it's easy for them, but for us, we have to make things and make products, right? But the way that you've done it, I think it's commendable. It's really innovative, and I think it shows. It could be like a permanent thing as well, right? So all these artisans, like, why do they even have to come back to a certain location after the pandemic if they can, have better productivity producing the same products from their home in this kind of distributed manufacturing model, right?
And in
Uh,
fact, we were already doing that before the pandemic. I have to admit, one of our artisans have had the ability. We have even done a blog on our website on him, that how he has been stitching the shoes from the comfort of his home. So we had already been doing that. It's just now the scale we are doing it is a lot more broader, because now we're having everyone work from their homes.
Wow, that's fantastic. I just took this time to display the link of your WeFunder campaign. Is that correct? So
Yes,
just to give the audience, so WeFunder is similar to Kickstarter, and we've done a successful Kickstarter campaign back in 2016. In fact, it was the biggest, most successful campaign for women's ballet flats. So kudos to that.
thank you.
But now you're actually not doing something that Kickstarter does. You're actually raising investment and offering equity in your company through this online crowdfunding platform. So this all sounds really interesting and futuristic to me, especially because like in Pakistan we've recently made this committee to allow crowdfunding, and they're still working on it. Hopefully soon. But being a US startup, what you're doing is amazing. So I'd love to hear more details about how a normal person like me can
Mhm.
invest in your company, and what you're doing right now with kind of raising this investment and providing this opportunity to people.
Absolutely. So we had launched this VFunder campaign few weeks ago, and as you mentioned, it's a platform for raising equity, for raising capital in exchange of equity. So what we're doing right now is, and by the way, anyone, it's like literally open for public. Anyone can go and invest and become a part of Fuchsia. You'll be
Wow.
getting equity in exchange, and we have set a minimum investment of $250. So at $250 you will own a piece of the company, and you are coming on this journey with us, with a company that is on a trajectory of $1 billion shoe startup. That's the type of growth we are seeing. We have sold around 10,000 pairs to date, and in the last 3 months, including the March month, which was like middle of the pandemic, the entire Q1 we grew by 200% in revenue.
Wow.
So we are on a growth trajectory right now, and that's what we are continuing to do. We will continue to do to sort of grow the revenue, and just continue. That's so primarily why we are raising capital, is in order for us to be equipped and ready for that scale. We need to build a team, and I'm looking to hire some key strategic people in the Fuchsia team who will help us. Like we did 400 shoes last month. We are on the same run rate for April. We're still like we haven't closed yet, but we are going to hit the same run rate for April by the end of this month. And yeah, so we're inviting everyone to invest and come on this journey with us.
And I've shared this screen with the audience as well. Hopefully, you're seeing this. So you've already raised a bunch of funds, and we hope you raise uh, a huge chunk of funds more. So how has the journey been so far? Like maybe you want to talk about why a lot of people have invested $51,000 in your campaign in your company?
So we have around 42 investors. Before this crowdfunding campaign, we have raised some more angel around. With this particular one, we started having some early on conversations with some of the investors that, in fact, I have some friends and family who wanted to be part of investing. So I specifically had them in mind when I was opening this round. So that's where the first 20K came in. And then we have this amazing community of customers and, excuse me, our Kickstarter folks that went on and invested.
Wow.
These were the same people when we were not product ready, had taken a chance on us. And back in 2016, when we did our Kickstarter, we weren't product ready. They ended up taking a chance on us. They saw the value in the product. And today they have become our investors. So it's an opportunity for everyone, like for us to kind of go through a traditional VC route. This is because we are sort of bringing on people as shareholders that really believe in the mission of the brand. And they really see that where we are going and, how at some point Nike had sold 10,000 pairs. We have already passed that stage. And with how we are growing, given our growth trajectory, we are on a very good, attractive growth path to become huge, that we are going after the North Star. And we want to build this huge company that you will be owning a piece of. Imagine owning a piece of Nordstrom, what it is today. Nordstrom started with a shoe company.
Yeah. No, I'm convinced to invest, but we'll take this conversation offline. But just there's another question that is also relevant to what we're discussing right now, right? So you've achieved very good growth in a very short amount of time, right? Which is 10,000 shoes sold, a successful Kickstarter campaign, bunch of other stuff that is on your website. So there's a question on our Facebook that in such a competitive market like the US, what has been your marketing strategy?
So our marketing strategy, obviously, as a lean startup, we don't have big marketing budgets. One of the things that we are learning about our product is the designs and like the product itself. This is not a shoe that you can go and buy from Nordstrom or Macy's or any other retail store here in the US. So given the product itself is so unique, has been working really. I started this company because I was getting reached out by people who were like, okay, where you bought these shoes from? Today, I hear the same thing from our customers who are buying our shoes off our website. They are leaving us reviews that they were at a doctor's office and they got compliments, and somebody was at a bar and they asked where these shoes were from. Same thing is happening to them. So the biggest place where we are growing right now is just through that our first set of customers. They're bringing their friends and they're creating this viral effect where people just reaching out and they want to know where these shoes are from and where can they buy it. So that organic growth has been the best marketing strategy for us, word of mouth. Anything that we are doing ourselves is email marketing. That's working out really well. I think we have some great story behind the shoes. The fact that, real artisans are creating the shoes, and we are sharing a lot more what is going on, just like beyond the label. So our customers find a really intimate connection they built a very intimate connection with the brand, that, my shoes are being created by this artisan that is located in a small town in Pakistan. His name is Ali, and he created my shoes. So that's the type of connection that we are seeing. And I think that's like the most strongest marketing strategy that is working out really well for us.
I mean, that's fantastic. I see another Supreme in the making. Right?
And that's the thing. Like, can you think of any other brands that are in the market that are doing this right now in the shoe space, who are providing that sort of a connection and that transparency? We are in fact working on building, like, this is something that I want to do once, I have a proper team in place, that how can we improve the traceability of every product. Perhaps, like, we're, and this is just a thought, we want to kind of expand on this idea that we're going to start putting QR codes on every single shoe. You scan it with your smartphone and you will see the entire history of how we source a raw material, where who are the artisans who worked on the embroideries and who put the sizing on, and then, like,
Yeah.
how many touch points that shoe has. We can go at that level, and I know, like, people want to see that information on where exactly their shoes are being sourced from.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a fantastic point. And we a friend of ours kind of gifted us a bunch of handmade paintings at the last Startup Grind Pakistan conference. And
Hmm.
because he's a techie and he's that they run a big company in with supply chain as well. So they had these QR codes, which if you open, so every painting had its own web page with the name of the artisan and even videos of the artists making these paintings, right? Which was, I think, very pleasing for the people to see who we gifted these paintings to, right? And just to add on one of the things you touched, that you want to expand your team. We've obviously learned about you and your background. I see that there's two other people on your team right now, as per this website, uh, and you have some investors. But do you maybe want to talk about the profiles of your other team members, and kind of what does your team look like right now? Where are you planning to go next? How do you plan to
And
expand
I
it?
think if you hit on see more, you will see another person. So there are actually four of us right now. So you guys already know about me, Ramiz Sadwani. He is my co-founder, and he is the one who, the piece that where I talked about, where he relocated to Pakistan for 4 months. He helped me develop that product while I was collecting and doing all focus groups with our customers here back in the day when we were actually building the product. So he spent 4 months on the ground in the artisans shops, and he helped them evolve this product to a quality which is what it is today. He played a very important role in developing that infrastructure and having us ready for that scale from the supply chain perspective. So, building all those vendor connections, coming artisans on board. And even in Pakistan, like in Pakistan, a lot of artisans work on the like on the trust basis. So Ramiz is like the go-to guy, and they really look up to him, and uh, he's literally their friend. So yes.
Wow.
So that's but Ramiz also comes from a background in software engineering. He has worked for companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and so he has helped me build the technical side of the things, of the supply chain, where how we are going to introduce the traceability. We also looked into blockchain at some point. We still want to. And when we are ready for that, he will help us drive the ball on that. Omar, very crucial guy. He's one of the reason why we have gotten this far. He's actually the one who lives on the ground, very close to our artisan facility. So he's obviously, like, Ramiz and I are based out of Seattle. For something that we are developing, we have to presently be present on the ground. We're not doing
Yeah.
that. But Umar is. We are on calls with Umar all the time, 2 times, 3 times a day sometimes. And he is the one who is managing the production of the shoes on the ground and working closely with the artisans. Jim Huffman, he is our gold star he is a growth guy, and so he comes from the marketing background, and he's the one who helped us build a stellar website. And just kind of going through the data, we are very data obsessed here as a team. We rely on a lot of data and extract, like we make decisions based on what kind of behavior we are seeing rather than relying on our intuition. So Jim has helped us build some great marketing campaigns and then testing them out and seeing how they have performed, what has worked, what has not worked, and kind of building upon that.
Wow, that sounds like an all-star team, and we can't wait to see this become a billion-dollar company, right? Just to add on a little bit about, on our conversation, we did the Kickstarter campaign in 2016, right? And now you're doing uh, fun, kind of equity investment crowdfunding from VFund. In between, what's kind of like, how does the financials look like? And I think I've I've reached to that point on the website as well. So maybe you want to highlight some of these for the people as well.
Yeah, so we have all the financials posted until 2018. These are all CPA certified. We had to hire a really good CPA. So just so that everybody knows, um, a lot of companies, a lot of startups apply for raising funds through platforms like VFunder. With VFunder specifically, only 3% companies qualifies to go and raise. We are
Wow.
one of them. And so yes, you can definitely, like these financials are all CPA certified. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but if whoever is interested, they can go and look at how the cash flows has been like. Although I do want to say that financials are not an important part of why anyone should be investing right now in a company like us. Startups, since we are a startup and we are very early stage, if you decide to invest, you should look at our growth numbers, which are amazing,
Yeah.
and look at the market potential of what we are doing. Shoe startups, recent shoe startups have emerged in the past 5 to 10 years in the worlds of Nikes and Adidas, and have gone and become billion-dollar companies. There
Wow.
has been around 170 million $170 million invested in all sorts of shoe related startups in the last 2 years. So it's a growing space in the US. It's a huge industry. I already talked about those numbers. It's a big market with respect to that. With Fuchsia, we are on a great, like we are already showing that growth. And if we continue to expand on that growth, we can hit 20x. Like we can grow by 20x in next 18 months, which is what we are raising these funds for. So yes, these are all the things that you should consider before investing in us, and become a part of the company. Like there are not a lot of opportunities out there where you get to invest at such an early stage. And like our valuation will grow, our value of the company will grow. So you're getting a really sweet deal. We have this early bird deal also that you will get, and hopefully we can make you some money.
Oh, absolutely. I think it looks like a fantastic opportunity after all that we've discussed. This is definitely, to me, it looks like this is definitely a startup that is not just going to make millions and millions of dollars, but also going to make Pakistan proud, right? And kind of, before wrapping up the conversation, my last question to you would be, what do you've gone through this journey of, working for these big companies to starting something from zero and then achieving such amazing numbers and growth and kind of keep growing. What are your I would say insights or lessons learned or uh, kind of learnings to share with other entrepreneurs who are starting out, especially the ones who are starting out from, emerging markets like Pakistan?
I think my lessons, or I would say like my advice would be, don't underestimate this. Start anything that really matters, to just make sure that it's something that, it's really close to your heart, and you really want this to, you really want this to be a big thing in future. If you are going to be driven by money, startups are not a good place to begin with. It has to be driven by a mission, something that is close to you, and something that is, you are actually solving some problem. You're solving a consumer problem. So I think make that a priority, and go from the aspect of, you are actually solving a real market gap. So that would be my only advice, and research a lot, that if that problem really exists for your target market.
Definitely, I think that's some really useful advice, because I would totally agree that all these amazing success stories of entrepreneurs that we hear of, all these unicorns and $100 billion companies, they did not start it to make dollars. They started it because they were passionate about something, and you're definitely passionate about this cause. You've done an amazing job of taking the product from these artisans in Pakistan and taking it to the North American market, marketing it in a way that relates to that market, and kind of turning this product into something that works in that market, right? And the way you're getting so much growth from referrals, which is obviously the best way a company can grow, right? Uh, I think this is going really well, and my best wishes are for you. Uh,
Much.
yeah. So do you have anything else to share, or otherwise we can wrap up?
So just one last thought: our public equity campaign is closing in 2 days.
Oh,
If anyone decide to invest, it literally takes less than 5 minutes. It's a very easy process. You just hit the invest button, and you kind of go with, whatever your. So, but I do want to mention this, that we are this opportunity is running out in 2 days.
I mean, it's a great opportunity, and absolutely, we have, like, I have a lot of friends who are watching us live on Facebook right now, and a lot of you obviously have the funds to invest. So please invest in this rather than investing in oil or stocks, because a lot of them are going down right now. But this is definitely going up, even in times of the quarantine. I think with this. I'd like to, thank you for joining us live all the way from Seattle and taking out the time. And again, and thank you for doing a wonderful job, not just building this company, but also building a company that is helping Pakistan, because I'm like super, pro promoting Pakistan. And you obviously know that you joined us as a speaker at the Tech Summit in Silicon Valley as well. Uh, Anything that kind of promotes the Pakistani economy, or anything that comes out of Pakistan, is close to our heart, and our prayers and support are with you. Thank you for doing a wonderful job, and hopefully we'll see you keep growing this as we move along.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, Arzish. I really appreciate it.
Perfect. And thanks to the amazing audience who stayed with us. And you can just go on this website, get all the details that you need, and invest in this company that is definitely going to grow way more post COVID, in COVID, because it's already doing really well. And see you around in our future webinars. Once again, thank you, Afshan. Uh,
Thank you, Arzish. Take care. Goodbye.